y'all, it's Crystal. Thanks for coming by today. Just kind of chatty little video today as I am thinking about these first sort of few days of the RWYO You Own Challenge, which has just kicked off on November 5th. And it's November 8th today as I'm recording this little clip here. And of course, the RWYO You Own Challenge is something created by Criminali, and I am kind of one of the sort of co-hosts, your champion along the way to help you. And I kind of really want to do a bit of a better job this year of being said champion. So the RWYO You Own Challenge, of course, is where we read a certain number of books or a number of pages, that kind of thing, that we already own, before buying any new ones. That's the challenge, right? You set the challenge up in a way that will work for you in your life and how you read and how you buy, right? Okay, I'll link announcement videos below that explain a little bit more about it, okay? But this year, like I said, I just want to be a bit more intentional about my own reading challenge and some tips and tricks maybe that I'm discovering along the way, or things I'm trying to help myself along the way. Because the last RWYO You Own Challenge, I got a little lost in the sauce. I got a little lost, and I stopped keeping track, and I kind of not failed necessarily, but it just sort of faded away. Even though I didn't buy any books really much this past time, but still, whatever. So if I can, some things that I am, doing to prepare, or find things along the way that maybe will help people on their challenge. So I'm hoping to do some little series of videos about the challenge as I'm doing it, and I hope that makes sense. So a few things that I've done, one thing in particular that I've done that I think is going to really help me this time. I'm sorry, I'm just holding you my camera here today, so if this is a little shaky, I do apologize. But one thing I did that I think is really going to help me is I went through my Libby list. I'm just going to adjust my hand real quick. I don't know about you, but I have so many. I got a lot of things on my Libby, right? Because you can make little, little tags, right? Which kind of creates like a little shelf, a little section for you, right? And so I have things that are marked. I even have things that are marked, I've got these are Halloween books, these are cryptid books that I say for cryptid readathon, these are stuff I say for Creatorpathon, these are, I don't know, I got themes that, in certain sections. And then I have a major TBR ebook section. So these are books that my library has on ebook that I want to read, and I stick it in that section, right? And then I had one that was an audio one. So these are audiobooks that my library has that I would like to listen to at some point in my life. So I stick them on this tag, right? But what I did, and I think, like I said, I think it's gonna be very helpful, is I went through that entire audiobook list. There was 700 something on there. Now, if it was a book that I currently own on my shelf, either physically or ebook or whatever, and I got the audiobook sitting there on Libby, I created a new shelf. So I created a new shelf called Owned. I just named it Owned. I own this book, right? And as you can see, I think, if I put a little screenshot or something here, I think it was 140 something books. And that is just, of course, books that I had already had already put on my list at some point, right? So I've got, I was like, I can, at any point when I'm in the mood for an audiobook, I can go right to this particular tag that I've created on Libby and know that by listening to this book, I will knock a book off that I already own. And I'm someone who has more audiobook listening time in my life than physical reading. Is just my life. So this is going to help me immensely, I think. So I'm very excited about that. So, so I encourage you to use your library. If you are an audiobook person, I say not everyone's audiobooks, and I get it. So, but have the audiobooks help you, reach your goals of the challenge. So this I think is going to be very helpful. And when you can go, when you pull up that tag, it has the option for available now. So I don't even have to like scroll through the list. I can automatically like eliminate ones that I have to put on hold. So because that's obviously not going to help me, but I'm in the mood for, I need a new audiobook. I can go right to there, look at what's available now, pick something from that list. And I think it's, like I said, I just think it'll be helpful. I don't have to flip through those 700 and something audio books when I'm in the mood for a new audiobook, right? So I think it's gonna be great. I can still put things on hold. Now my Libby only gives me like 6 holds for my one library. And I think I can't remember, I got 2 libraries that on my Libby, but my one library only gives me 6 holds, which is not a lot. So, so I can put, either my new releases that I want to get to. Stuff I don't own, I can still like work through my holds that way. So I don't think I'm going to be missing out on much by just focusing on what I own. Because a lot of times I use audio for stuff I don't own, you know what I mean? Anyway, I think I'm kind of rambling now, but I hope that makes sense and that, anyway, now, something I did this morning was, if you've been watching my channel for any length of time, you know that I'm someone who really loves a booktube event. You give me a theme, I'm down. I'm really down for booktube events, and I really love them. Sometimes though, and I think maybe that's kind of what derailed me a little bit this year, is that they can get me kind of off track on the Read What You Own challenge, which really should be my main focus. Okay, because it really is in my mind. It really is my main focus, is working down this huge number of unread books I have, right? Excuse me. So I was like, what can I do to focus on that? What's going on in November that I wanted to take part in? I didn't have anything necessarily planned, but yada yada. And I was like, the Dinovember event where they're reading books about dinosaurs in the month. I mean, so fun. It sounds super fun to me. But I was like, even the thought of like trying to think of something to read was like giving me the vapors. So, but I said, you know what? I remembered that I do own at least this one book that I know of that I remembered that I had, and it's this Ray Bradbury collection of dinosaur stories. So I started it. It's very short. Read us, I think it's only maybe like 6 or 7 stories in here. I'm going to finish this month, and this will be a book off my shelf. And I will have participated in the event that I was really excited to participate in. So, so I think moving forward, I think it'll just be a bit smarter, how I participate in events, because I do love them. And I host, a few, or am involved in a few myself, through the year, And I think as I approach, particularly like moving into 2026, as I'm thinking about my yearly planning, is really planning out the year of events. Yeah, because we know there's the standards that come every year, and so as I'm working through my shelves, we're still trying to organize those things, putting aside a book. So hey, these are some Western books that I own. I should put those aside for June on the range and put them in a certain location so that I remember where they are. That's the key, is remember where they are. Oh, this is what else do we do? A Garbagus book. Okay, this is going to be great for Garbagus this year or whatever. So I think definitely as I'm moving into planning it for 2026 is and really wanting to take part in these events that I love, but really keeping in the forefront of my brain that the Read What You Own challenge is going to be really my main focus for my reading life. So those are a couple of things that in these early days of the challenge that I have been doing, and I think are going to help me just keep focused. I think, which is again where I lost track last year. The challenge was just, I kind of just lost focus on what I was doing. I read a lot of library books, and that's fine. I'm still going to read some library books and things like that. But I just need to keep in my brain that the Read What You Own challenge is what I want to prioritize for myself, right? So yeah, that's just a bit of a ramble. It really wasn't much going on, but as I, like I said, maybe once a month I can do a check-in about sort of lessons learned or tips and tricks, for the Read What You Own challenge. and we'll see how it's going. And so yeah, that's it for me today. Again, just a little ramble, but I hope the first sort of few days of the challenge have been going well for you. I'm feeling good. I've got a lot of things. I've got several owned books in progress, and I'm feeling really good about finishing some things, already, that I can knock some books off my Kindle and off my physical shelf. So I'm optimistic so far on day 4, right, or whatever. Yeah, so that's gonna do it for me. Yeah, just a ramble. So I hope you're doing well. Thanks so much for watching. Again, good luck with the challenge. You got it. Just making it work for you. Line up your priorities, get you some things in play to, make it work for you. I think that's really is the key. And that's what I'm focusing on this year. It's really making it work for me. All right. I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. All right. Bye.